Okay, so as you're getting ready, come to your standing pose. And we're going to check down and see that the feet are parallel, that the ankles are underneath the knees, which are underneath the hips. We'll have the shoulders up and back and then release down, and the arms are just resting alongside. So we feel a gentle lift in the sternum, but not so much that the lower back is activated. So feel that your lower back is soft, your chest is lifted, and you're tall through the crown of the head. And when your posture feels good, you could let your eyes close. So that's optional. If closing your eyes throws off your balance, you can just close your eyes halfway or not at all. And allow your body to become still. And take a moment to move your awareness inside and get a sense of your posture, of any sensations in the body, and of how you're holding yourself this morning. So obviously it takes some work with muscles to stand up, right? It's different from lying down on our backs. But are there any places where there's unnecessary gripping or holding? And just see if you can remain nice and tall, but easy. Feel your body balanced over the arches of your feet. And you might notice that when you're at ease, the body wavers a little bit, right? We're not like stone beings here, right? Not like a statue. There's a little bit of gentle back and forth. Relax through the abdomen, sides of the waist, and lower back. And release your breath. So start to feel in your body the movement of the abdomen, sides of the waist, and to a lesser degree, but still important, the lower back. As you inhale, that expansion that fills you. And as you exhale, that contraction that brings everything back to center. And so in one part of your mind, you're aware of your posture. And in another part, you're cultivating a long, deep, relaxed breath. And just notice if you can allow each part of the breath to grow just a little bit longer. So inhaling a little bit more with each breath and exhaling a little bit more with each breath. And so if you like having your eyes closed, you can certainly leave them closed. If you prefer now to open them as you start to move, open them. And let's draw the shoulders up to the ears, press back, release down, and draw forward. So start some nice, easy shoulder rotations and start them just a little bit smaller than what you know you can do. And let the expansion of your movement grow gradually. And you might feel some little clicks and cracks. As you're moving, elbows, wrists, hands are soft. And you might feel the weight of your arms. Right? These are pretty heavy appendages here that hang from our shoulders. And let them do just that. Relax and be weight. And then relax your shoulder blades down your back and bring your fingertips to your shoulders. Elbows close in front, and we're going to breathe as we move. So let's inhale, elbows up and back, and then exhale down and through. About to combine that. Inhale up and back, exhale down and through. Good. So take your time, no hurrying. Just looking for a nice fluid movement. One more. And then let's release the arms. And now feel that the tips of your fingers are reaching for the floor. Good. So you can feel that through your shoulders and neck, that kind of small effort to bring your fingertips down to the floor. And as you're here, we're going to drop the chin down towards the chest. And now drop the right ear towards the right shoulder. Good. Keep gently reaching. And the chin drops towards the chest. And the left ear towards the left shoulder. And the chin to the chest. Good. And now here, release the effort in your arms. So let your shoulders relax and your arms be bouncy. And we'll take the head into a rotation. So you can do full circles if they feel good. If you don't like bringing your head back, you can do half circles. And we'll do 3 big circles in each direction. When we get to 3, switch. Relax your jaw, allow your teeth to part. And the next time your chin is at your chest, we're going to stay there and just keep your head heavy. Let's interlace the fingers and bring the palms of the hands to the back of the head. And now if your neck feels okay like this, you can let your arms be heavy. So we're not pushing the chin down. We're just letting our arms be their own weight and let that weight rest on the back of your head. Good. Continue that deep breathing into your belly. Relax the weight of your head. And now as you inhale, we're going to bring our gaze forward and open up the elbows. Let's move into our complete breaths now. So on the exhale, we're going to start bringing the elbows forward, bend your knees. And as the spine rolls forward, bring your sit bones back. And so coming down into a chair pose. And then inhaling and standing. Lift the chest, elbows back, eyes look up. Let's keep going for 2 more. Exhale, elbows closing, knees bending, sit bones back. So take your time filling from the base of the pelvis all the way up to the shoulders. Exhaling, chest and belly and navel draws in. Good. The next time you get to the place where you're inhaling, stay there. Bring your head to neutral and let's just press the palms up to the ceiling. Take a nice big stretch. And then exhale, arms down alongside. All right. Fists with the hands. Let's bring elbows back and then arms back. Okay. Some gentle swings. And we'll step that out a little bit wider into some twists. So take your stance a little bit wider than hip distance. Hands are still in fists, eyes are straight ahead. And just let the arms go. So twisting motion. And then we'll step that back to our mountain pose. So ankles are back underneath hip joints. And we're going to do some leg swings. So for these, we're going to need to tip the pelvis. So we can tip the pelvis to the left so that all the weight comes over the left arch. And then if you flex your toes, they should clear the floor. And let's swing. If you want a wall for balance, the left hand could be on a wall or a chair. And in this position, I still feel my weight over the arch of my foot, a lift in the crown of the head, shoulders are relaxed. Okay, and then let's bring the right foot back down, and the weight of the body will shift over the right arch. Right hip drops, left hip lifts, flex your toes. Again, if you want support, right hand. And let's just swing the leg. Good. So your right knee is straight, but not locked. I was a knee locker for many years, so I finally became aware of that at some point. And locking just means that you're beyond 100% straight. You're 101% straight, right? Which is not good for knees. So you can feel there's a little bit of bounce in there. And then let's bring the foot back down and come back to balanced over the arches of both feet. Okay, we're going to continue to do things that require balance. So if you want to stay by your wall or your chair, this time we're going to do circles with the hip joint. Okay, so if you have some place to place your left hand, the weight of the body comes over the left arch, right knee lifts. And let's press the right knee open, around and through. Good. So what we're trying to do now is not tip the pelvis, right? When we're doing the leg swings, we're letting the pelvis tilt. And I don't know if you see your thumbnail for those who have their camera on, but one of the good things about having a camera running is you can look at your hips, and if you're kind of tipped, you can see it, right? Okay, bring your toes down, rest for a minute, and we're going to circle the other way. So for a while, when I was a new teacher, I taught at the JCC, and they had mirrors on 3 walls. And it was a little bit disconcerting because I wasn't used to looking at myself do yoga at that time. Now I am. But there were the benefits of being able to see what you're doing, right? A big circle and land the foot. Okay. Weight of the body comes out over the right arch. Right hand finds support if needed. Left knee lifts. Press open, around and through. So this is 3 things at once, obviously, working on flexibility in hip joints, but also strength. Right. Takes twice as much work to only use one leg. And of course, balance. Toes touch. And now let's do the same thing, moving back to begin. And we're shooting for about 5. To 5, bring your toes down and walk it out a little bit. So walking a little bit is kind of a reset, right? And while you're walking, maybe some chicken kicks. Thighs stay straight. And we're just bringing the heels up and back. So that's a nice release for low legs. Okay, so let's do some lunging now. We're going to come to the back of our mats. And we're looking out at the straight, the short end of the mat. And we're going to rotate the left thigh open just a little bit, about 30%, and step the right foot forward. Okay. Hands are on the hips, and let's just bend down into the right knee and come back. Good. So do whatever little tweaks you need to be really comfortable in this movement. As I'm looking, my right knee is tracking towards my toes. And the best way to do this is, there's some debate about that. So in Iyengar yoga, which is very alignment focused, the idea was, and yoga was taught like this, that your right heel should be in alignment with your left arch. So I'd be a bit closed. All right. We've come to realize later that keeping this hip distance apart is easier. It's easier, and if we do have trouble with low back or sciatica, it's safer. Because it's a more natural movement for your body, right? Just being aware of that. Let's bend down into the right knee, bring the arms up. These are warrior one arms. Good. And let's relax here. So let your chest lift, your shoulders drop just a little bit. If you'd like to close your eyes, you can close your eyes, and we'll stay here for a few breaths. Eyes open, and bring your hands to your chest. The heels of the hands are at your heart. Your front knee is now straight. And we're going to inhale, drop into the right knee and reach. So reach forward, and then as you exhale, we'll pull back. Straight. Good. Hands at the heart. Inhale, bend your knee and reach. Exhale, pull back. Okay. So it's a little bit like the breaststroke. All right, we have our swimming movements. They're very good for the body. Breaststroke, we backstroke. And one more. Reach and pull back. Okay. Let's step up. Again, walk around a little bit. And we'll practice some lunging now on the other side. So we're standing at the back of the mat. Right thigh opens up about 30%, and the left leg steps forward. Hands around the hips, and let's practice bending the left knee. So look down, see that your knee is coming out towards your toes, but not over them. Good. It's also a good stance if your right foot is staying on the floor. And then we'll drop down into the knee and bring the arms up by the ears. So again, holding our warrior one position for about 5 breaths. Eyes opened or closed, your choice. And if you go down into your body, can you feel that your pelvis is even? All right, so think about leg swings. We are tipping on purpose, all right? When we're doing our hip rolls, we were trying not to tip. So can you feel that both sides of the pelvis are balanced? Let's bring the hands together, heels of the hands to the heart, straighten your front knee. And then as you inhale, bend down into the knee and reach. Exhale, draw back. Good. So just moving with your breath. Good. Keeping your gaze forward. And a nice soft movement. Down, step together. Take a little walk. This time we could practice releasing to the front so the knees come up. And if you lift your knees higher than your waist, it should feel good in your lower back. We're going to work a little bit now with side angle pose. That's Parsva Konasana. So let's take a wider stance. Yeah, so wider than hip distance, and we're going to set our feet. So the left leg is going to rotate open, so toes point towards the short end of the mat. And the right toes are going to point inward, again, just a little bit. And if I'm facing the long end of a mat, this is my Oriental rug mat. The pelvis is as best as it can facing the long end. Let's bend down into the left knee and come back. And here's where you're going to adjust your feet so that the left knee ends over the ankle. Again, if you're coming out over your toes, you can step a little wider. Okay. And left knee bends and come up. And the next time the left knee bends, we're going to tip and just let the forearm rest on your thigh. As best you can, bring your right shoulder back. And if you're comfortable, we'll do the backstroke. Just drawing some circles with the right arm. So if your shoulders are a little tender, gardening a lot, or spring cleaning, keep your elbow bent and you can make it a little smaller. And then we'll let the fingertips face the ceiling, palm open. And if your balance is good, you might look up. If you feel tippy or any kind of strain in your neck, look down at your left toes. 3 more breaths. Bring the right arm down, tip up. Okay, and I want to show you reverse side angle. So after this, I'd like to do the golden seed because that's a flow we haven't done in a long time. Just kind of remember it. And we will be going in and out of a reverse side angle in a breath. So maybe now, let's take a moment to really feel what's going on. So the difference is in side angle, my torso faces forward. In reverse side angle, I'm going to turn and look behind. Okay. And when we do it in a yin flow, we're going to let the right hand come to the floor. But let's practice it now with the right arm resting on the left leg. So bend down into your left knee and then turn your body like someone's calling you. And your left arm can rest in the low back, and we're just going to tip. So the right forearm rests on the left thigh and look behind you. Okay, so this is reversed side angle. Nice and steady, and again, we'll just stay for about 5 breaths. And the difference is when we do golden seed, the right hand will be down on the floor. And then press into your foot. Face the long end of your mat and step together. Good. So side angle pose and triangle pose are the same pose, just in triangle, the knees are straight. And I always feel, to me, the triangle is more of a strain in inner thigh and groin muscles. I'm not a huge fan, but some people are. So I had a student in class who told me that was her favorite pose. Like, wow. A little bit wider than hip distance, and we'll practice side angle and reverse side angle on the other side. So the right thigh turns open, so the right toes are looking off the short end, and the left toes are looking towards the center line. As best you can, the torso looks forward, right knee bends. Yeah, again, you might find you need to scooch a little wider. And just practice right knee tracking towards the toes. Good. So this movement in your legs is the most important thing. And sometimes we try to square up the pelvis a little bit more. All right. So again, talking about that concern with alignment. If I push my pelvis to be completely straight, for me, I have lots of strain through here and in my inner knee too. So for me, my pelvis isn't 100% square to the front. Forearm rests on the thigh, and let's do the backstroke. So left fingertips making a circle. And I do have a little something going on in my left shoulder today. So my circles are smaller on this side. And then the fingertips face the ceiling, palm is open. You can look up, or you can look down. What feels best, keep your chest as open as it goes. And feel that your arm is balanced over your shoulder. Okay, so keeping the arm up should be kind of easy. It's not back, it's not forward, it's balanced. Okay, and then let's pop up. And let's think about what we need to do to reverse this posture. We'll drop down into the knee. And then I'm thinking about my left forearm on my right thigh. So first I'm going to look behind me And then maybe bend into the knee a little more. And just see if you can place your forearm down. And your right hand can just rest on your low back. Good. See if we can be here again, about 5 breaths. Nice strong legs. And then we'll pop up, face forward, and step together. Okay, take a little walk. Okay, so I think probably everybody has seen the golden seed. We'll go through slowly the first time, and then we'll do it with our breathing. Okay, so this is one of our yin flows, and we'll transition us down to the floor. So when you're ready, we're going to take a slightly wider stance, and we're going to move into our squatting legs. So in Tadasana, the toes are forward, right? Our squatting legs mean that the thighs are rotated open just enough that we squat easily. Okay, so from this position, we're going to take a nice big inhalation, bring the arms up overhead. Hands come behind the head, and then as you exhale, drop into your knees and push out. Okay, so this is our goddess position. Bend into the knees only as much as feels comfortable. Your knees are great. You can go pretty deep. Otherwise, it's just a little bend. Good. And to stay here for a moment, relax your shoulders, lift your heart, breathe. And then we're going to bring the knees straight, toes forward. Good. Hands are up by the ears. And again, we'll stay here for a few breaths. So notice if your pelvis is neutral. If you're lifting your tailbone, you'll feel your low back squeezing here. See if you can drop it. Good. And then this movement is called elephant drops his trunk. So drop your trunk down to the floor and bend your knees if that's needed. We'll stay here for a moment, head and shoulders heavy. And just allowing the traction of the spine from the weight of the head and shoulders dropping. Good, deep breaths. And now we're thinking about what it takes for a reverse side angle on the left side. We're going to walk our hands to the left foot, left toes face the short end, right toes face in, left knee bends. And we'll have the right hand on the floor. Just turn and look behind you and lift your arm. And then bring your arm back down. Let's walk through center. And your feet are pivoting on your heels as you walk to the right side. Right knee bends, right arm lifts. And then bring your arm back down. Let's walk to the center line. Find those squatting legs. Good. And as you bend into your knees, look at the palms of your hands. On the inhalation, we draw energy up to the heart. And then as you exhale, drop into your knees and reach overhead. So we're back to our goddess pose. Good. From here, we're going to inhale, bring your toes forward, and we will drop into dipping bird. So arms come up behind you, head drops. Again, we can stay here for a moment and just feel your body in this position. Feel where your hands are. And then from here, we move to rocking horse. So let's bend the knees, lift the head, and we're holding the reins of the horse. And we'll come back to dipping bird. Hands down, head down, arms lift behind you. Good. And now from this position, bring your hands back to the floor. Come back to your squatting legs. And this time we're going to swoop the arms. So as you inhale, bring the arms up to the side. Touch the palms overhead and step together. Hands to the heart. Good. And just letting your thumbs rest on your sternum, drop your elbows, lift through the crown. And let your eyes close for just 2 or 3 breaths. In the body. Eyes open. And let's just do that one more time. This time we'll see if we can move. Inhale and exhale. Okay. So squatting legs. And once you got them, nice big inhalation, swoop the arms up. Behind the head, bend your knees, exhale, press out. Inhale, toes forward, knees straight. Exhale, elephant drops his trunk. Walk to your left foot, left arm lifts, look behind you, inhale, side angle, reversed. Exhale your arm down and walk through center to your right foot, legs are pivoting, bend your right knee. Inhale, right arm up. And then exhale, the arm down, come to center, squatting legs. Look at your palms. Inhale, bring breath into your heart. Exhale, drop into squat. Inhale, stand up tall. Pose forward, exhale, dipping bird. Inhale, rocking horse. Exhale, dipping bird. Hands to the floor, squatting legs. Inhale and swoop the arms up, palms touch. Exhale, step together, hands to the heart. Good, stay here, chest lifted, deep breaths. And then let your eyes open. And let's come down to the floor and we're going to be in table pose to begin. So coming down to knees and hips lined up, wrists and shoulders lined up. And we're going to start by just tipping the hips from, swinging the hips from side to side. So bring your right hip right, come through center, left hip left. And just rocking. And then we're going to start doing some step behinds. So as my left hip swings left, I'm going to take my right leg, turn my right toes under and push through my right heel. Okay, so that's the position. And then I'll come back to table. Hips swing to the right, and now my left leg steps behind the right, press into your left toes. And let's start to move like this. So table position, hips left, right leg left, press. Table position, hips right, left leg steps right, press into toes. And then once you got it, just go ahead and move at whatever pace feels good. Start with the hip and then the leg and then press back. And let's just do each side maybe one more time. Oops. And the next time you find yourself back in table, big toes together, knees open, and let's drop down into a child's pose, bringing the forehead or the cheek to the floor. And just as you're here, relaxing the length of your spine and letting the sit bones drop. Relax your shoulders, allow the shoulder blades to move towards one another. Okay. If you're on your forehead, you're fine. If you're on a cheek, let's switch cheeks. Move your fingers, move your wrists if you have any stiffness. And then from here, we're going to move out into our Sphinx pose. So come to your forehead. And then lift your head, look forward, and start to walk yourself out onto your abdomen. And we'll come up onto forearms. Okay, so Sphinx pose, the elbows are under the shoulders. If this is too much squeeze in your lower back, we can bring the elbows out and lower the upper body. Okay, so important thing here is to stay tall in your shoulders. Okay, so this is a yin style back bend, but muscles do have to stay active. We don't want to sink into our shoulders because that will have repercussions, right? A soreness later. So stay tall. If you want a little bit more squeeze in the lumbar spine, you could bring your heels in towards your seat. Good. And we're going to stay here for about 20 breaths. If your shoulders start to get tired and you do feel like you're starting to sag, just take a break. Bring your elbows out and your head down. Feel the place now where your navel connects with the floor. And we'll deeply breathe, inhale, press the navel down. And then exhale, relax, stay tall. And the gaze is straight ahead. So let's stay aware of the breath and that connection with the navel center. But at the same time, we're going to slowly drop the head and just see if you can look at your navel. So it's as if we're bringing the chin towards the chest. And of course, you can't see your navel because you're laying on it, but we're looking towards the torso. Stay tall in your shoulders, heavy head. And then bring your eyes forward again, back to neutral. If your feet are up in the air, let's bring the legs down. Good. And we're going to bring the arms alongside and let's just rest on the left cheek. Good. And give your body time to let go of your lower back, right? So the compression is gone. Breathe into the low back. Keep breathing and let's switch cheeks. Let's bring the hands by the rib cage. So these are our cobra arms. And just rock on your pelvis. So rock towards your right hip, rock towards your left hip. And then we're going to stay on the right cheek and we're going to bring our arms straight out into a letter T. And from here, we're going to move into a reclined twist. So let your left hand push into the floor and bring you onto your right hip, knees bent. Stay here for a moment and just notice the front of your right shoulder, if it feels good. And it can be perpendicular to your body. If that's too much, walk your fingers to an angle that feels good. Not too much going on. And then when you're ready, let your left big toe touch the floor behind you. Okay. So you can touch close to your body. If you want to extend your leg out, you can touch further away. And your left palm can stay on the floor to steady you. So you feel you have a support. And again, we're going to stay for about 20 breaths. If you want to constrict the throat a little bit for the Ujjayi or ocean breath, you can do that. Listen to the sound of your breathing. And start to feel every place in your body that is in contact with the floor. Feeling your right hand, your right arm and shoulder, feeling the side of your face. And your hips and your outer knee. And as you feel those places of contact between the body and the floor, allow the floor to hold your weight. If you feel any strain in your hips or knees, you can bring your legs a little more closed. And then when you're ready, restack your legs. As you bring your left arm back out into a letter T, we're going to roll onto the belly. And find our starting position. Gently lift your head and slow motion. We're going to turn and look right, placing the left cheek on the floor. And now the right arm becomes the support. The right hand can press into the floor and bring you onto your left hip. Knees bend, legs are stacked. Good. And so before we go any further into this reclined twist, feel the front of your left shoulder and adjust your arm so you're comfortable. You might even lift your shoulder for a moment and reposition it. And when you like where it is, right big toe touches the floor behind you. Good. Again, stay nice and close or start to slide your foot away. And when you find the perfect spot, we will be still for about 20 breaths. As we hold things in the yin style, the goal is to relax your body, to let all your joints be soft and your muscles be soft. And the other goal is to not move unless you have to. All right, so we kind of like to adjust ourselves, right? Once you've chosen your position, see if you can stay there. And the only real movement you sense is the body settling. And the inward and outward flow of the breath. We'd like to bring in the Ujjayi or ocean breath. You can do that. You're softening into the floor. Surrendering the weight of your body to gravity. And then when you feel ready, restack your legs. As the right arm comes out onto the floor, find yourself moving back to your letter T position on your belly. And let's just stay here for a few breaths, feeling the floor underneath you. Your hands to either side of your rib cage, so into your cobra arms. And then bring your forehead to the floor. And we're going to push ourselves up into a child's pose. So press into your hands, and again, slow motion. Hips come up into table. Continue back towards the heels, forehead to the floor. And so when you've been holding something for a while, that release should always be slow. Walk your hands back towards your body. We'll come back to our table position. And again, very slowly start to move through cat and cow. Now we're moving even slower than inhale, exhale. So we get very used to doing cat and cow with the breath. That trying to move more slowly than the breath is sometimes very challenging. Right, so just pay attention to the articulation of your spine. And let the breath do what it will. And then you can sit down for a moment. The next position I'd like to do in the yin style is swan pose, which is a yin version of pigeon. I don't do pigeon a lot because I know it's really hard on some people's knees. But the yin version can be very sloppy. Okay, that's the joy of it. You don't need to worry about the low leg being square to the front of the mat or the back leg being completely straight, any of that. Okay, so the swan is a much more relaxed position than the traditional Kapotasana. That being said, if any form of pigeon is not good for your knees or hips and you know it, a great alternative is a reclined leg cradle. Okay, so let's move into pigeon. And if you know you don't like pigeon, we're going to start with the right leg forward, and you could do a reclined leg cradle. And you'll have your right leg on top. You can also do this against a wall if you want to make it more yin-like. Right, your left foot could be on a wall. Okay, so either taking the reclined leg cradle, or if you're feeling pigeon, if you are the owner of a bolster, it's a wonderful support. And yeah, I think this room has one. So a bolster, or if you have some blankets or your meditation cushion or something handy, take that now. And from your table position, we're going to bring the right knee forward and then rotate the right toes towards the center line. Okay, so there's my setup. And then if you are going to use something like a bolster, you can bring it in line with your right calf. And then just bring your head down. Another thing to do with this position, if it bothers your knee a bit, is to prop your right hip joint. All right, so for some folks, the pelvis has dropped and maybe you are in a place where there's no rocking. If your knee does not allow for that, or your hips don't allow for that, you can take your block here and wedge yourself. So it's like your right thigh or right sit bone is sitting on something. So if there's strain. And then we're going to settle the head. Maybe the head comes down to the bolster or down to your stack of blankets. Again, if it doesn't, you can just let the head drop or let your hands hold your head. And so we feel most of the magic happening in the right hip joint, right buttock. And we're going to hold this for about, let's say 15 breaths. So close your eyes and let your awareness go to the place where you feel this most. Again, should be right buttock, right hip joint area. If you feel this the most in your knee, that's not a great thing. You can open it up a little more. Or choose a different position. And then see if you can use your breath as a tool. So the breath is important in all yoga postures. And in our yin postures, we can focus breath in the place where sensation is strongest. So Bernie Clark calls that the place that's holding you up. Okay, so if you're not completely flush with the floor, as probably most of us are not, go to the place in you that is keeping that from happening. And then just lovingly breathe into that spot. So inhale into what feels like constriction. Exhale out what feels like tension. Your shoulders, relax your mind. And then we're going to move this from a forward bend to a back bend. And what that will do is bring the focus of the posture into the front of the left hip. So if you're in reclined leg cradle, you're going to want to come out of that now. Everybody who's in swan, stay there. If you're in reclined leg cradle, you'll come out of that and just come to a low lunge. Right knee is bent, left leg is back. That's a low floor lunge. For folks who are in the swan position, you just need to come to the palms of your hands and bring your head up. Your hands could be on your bolster, they could be on the floor, and we're going to lift the heart and look towards the ceiling. And then let's all transition to our table posture. So nice and slow, use your arms to help you. Let's move into table. Okay. If you're a reclined leg cradle person, from your table position, you can come down onto the floor and bring your left ankle above your right knee. If you're going into the swan pose here, you can bring your left knee to your left wrist, rotate the thigh inward, slide the right leg back. And when you like your position, bring some kind of support if you want it. So bolster, blankets, and start to walk your upper body down onto your support. And if you need another prop, grab your block. So it's okay to have your hip floating, right? And it's really the weight of gravity bringing your pelvis down that is stretching that hip joint. And my left knee nowadays is really doing much better. So I'm okay floating in the air. I have more strain in my right knee. So when I'm doing this position, as we did the first time, I need to prop because I can feel tension in my knee. On this side, I don't feel that tension, so I don't use the block as a prop. Okay. And so you need to feel that in your own body. The highlight of this position should be all that is happening in the hip joint, left buttock, not your ankles, not your knees. And then start to allow the weight of your body to drop. Go to the place where you feel this the most and use your breath as a tool. And you might notice if this side feels different from the other side. We may look symmetrical, but that's not always our experience, right? What we're feeling. And bring energy into the areas of sensation. And release tension from those same spaces as best you can. When we first start doing yoga, and we're learning all about the things our physical bodies do and don't do, this whole idea of having a pranic body or an energy body seems rather mysterious, right? But things like this, just focusing on the area of sensation and directing your breath there, will start to train you not only to be aware of your pranic body, but that you can, just like your physical body, manipulate it. All right, so you can have control over your energy body as well. It's these little awareness exercises that train that in you. Okay, so we're starting to think now about doing our back bend. If you're in the reclined leg cradle, gently come out of that and come down to your floor lunge. So your floor lunge will be bent left knee with the right leg straight behind you. Everybody who's in the swan position, we're going to start to lift our head and shoulders and bring your hands to the floor. From here, we'll look forward. And then if it's good, we can look up, lift the heart, 5 breaths. And I'll start to move from here to table. So again, coming out of a yin position, always in slow motion. And when you feel you've reset your table, you can move your pelvis around, maybe again, right and left. Move the spine. Okay. And we'll come to a seated position. And then we're going to do one last posture. We'll do one last yin posture. And it's going to be a forward fold seated. Okay, so you have a choice. You can either do that from staff position, and this is Paschimottanasana, right? In yin, it's called a caterpillar pose. Or you can separate your heels and do your forward fold with the legs open. Okay. And this is called straddle in yin yoga. So legs together, legs open, whichever position you like better. We'll sit up nice and tall through the center line and start to dip out over the legs. And when you find your stopping place, if you want to grab those props you used for swan pose, maybe brick for your forehead or your bolster. And just start to release the weight of your upper body. Good. So you can keep your spine neutral if you like and your head lifted. Or the head drops, shoulders drop. Yeah, and then there's something about our forward folds that make us want to close our eyes often. So you may close your eyes here if you like. And just as you did in the swan position, feel every place that your body touches the floor. So feel your heels, your calf muscles. The backs of the knees may feel that they are touching or they might be hovering a little. Feel the back of your thighs and your sit bones. Notice where your arms are resting. And however you've chosen to rest your arms, and feel where they touch either your body or the floor. And in this position, let your whole body breathe. So as you inhale, the whole body expands. You might feel your head and shoulders lift a little bit. And as you exhale, the whole body softens. So bit by bit by bit. And then using your hands, start to walk back towards your body. And you're happy because the next place you're going is Shavasana. So you can move your props out of the way. And if your legs are open, you can use the hands to help come back to staff position. Wiggle your toes, roll your ankles. Maybe rock on your sit bones. And then start to assemble what you need to be comfortable on your back. So a cushion for your head, maybe that bolster for under your knees. And if you would like something to keep you warm, grabbing a blanket or a fleece. And start to make your way into Shavasana. And once you are in Shavasana, make any little adjustments you need to feel comfortable. And you did a lot in the last hour and 5 minutes, so lying down should feel really good. And if I asked you to allow the floor to hold you, I'd be very happy to oblige that. So, no problem at all. Let the floor hold you, let your body go. Allow your body to be still. Start to feel the breath filling and emptying you. And the breath moves in and out with no effort. So for the whole length of class, I've been asking you to breathe in certain ways. And we can step back from that now. And the body breathes all on its own. Feel your forehead and eyes and your jaw. Feel the space around your ears and the back of your head. Feel the space around the neck, front, sides, back. Feel your shoulders. Feel your arms, your elbows, your wrists. All the little bones in your fingers. And the wrists and the elbows and the shoulders. And the weight of your rib cage. The weight of your shoulder blades. Feel your sternum. And as you breathe, it might lift and lower just a little bit, very subtly. When we think about our rib cage as being this big, heavy, solid thing, what does it expand when we breathe? It does, it moves. Right, so there's cartilage between the sternum or breastbone and the ribs. The chest does expand and does relax. And then feel the weight of your spine traveling down the center line of your body. Feel the weight of your pelvis. The upper legs and knees. The lower legs and ankles. Be aware of the arches of your feet. The tops of your feet. All the little bones in your toes. And then feel the sides of your feet, the outer sides, the outer ankle, and start to travel your awareness up the outside perimeter of your body. So feel the outside of your calves, outer knees, outer thighs, so moving up where you know your IT band is, outer hips, sides of your waist, sides of your rib cage, up through the sides of your neck and your ears. So this is like you're tracing your body and meet at the crown. Allow your awareness to rest at the crown of your head. And with awareness at the crown of your head, feel your inhalation move into your nostrils and draw energy to your crown. The inhalation travels into the nose, moves to the crown. And then as you exhale, just let the exhale move from the crown back down and out through the nostrils. So however you experience this is perfect for you. It might have a body sensation of drawing energy up into the crown. You might see it in your mind's eye as drawing light up into the crown. And as you're breathing this pathway, relax your forehead, relax your eyes. If you like visualization, you could start to see a beautiful white crystal lotus flower growing above the crown of your head. Okay, so you could have body sensation of the top of your head and start to see this beautiful white lotus flower opening there. Or maybe you can feel this beautiful white crystal lotus flower opening. Allowing awareness to rest in the lotus flower at the crown of the head. As we talk about energy centers in our body, this is the energy center that connects to everybody else and everything else in the whole universe. All right, so this is your portal, your connection to source and to all other beings. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. And now, as you're ready, start to breathe a little deeper. Start to allow your awareness to move back out into your room. And as you do, start to move your body, so wiggling your fingers or rocking your head. And then if you'd like to, you can move to your seated position now. I just thought I'd mention too, since we are on Zoom, if you ever want to continue your relaxation or continue your meditation past our class time ending, you are very welcome to do that. You will not be insulted if you don't sit up. I'll understand you're continuing your practice, which is the thing you could do. The luxury of being at home. So if you have chosen to sit, You can cover your eyes and allow your eyes to open to the darkness of your hands and your awareness to move back out. If you're continuing your practice, please do. For everybody else who's sitting, have a beautiful Memorial Day weekend. So enjoy the sunshine, the fresh air, and company. Okay, namaste. Thank you.
Thanks, Tracy.
My pleasure. Have a great one. Enjoy those kids and grandkids.
Thanks, we will.
You will.
Thank you. Have a great weekend, everyone.
You too.
Thank you.